Hello and welcome to Home JU, the self-isolation tour. Yeah, what's going on, you guys? I'm here with some of my favorite people inside of a computer staring at me from their inside into your inside, and we're all inside where we belong. I'm Roth Cornet, and I'm feeling weird today. Joe Starr,
Hi, good morning. Happy birthday, Sarah Heineken. It's her birthday.
happy birthday, Sarah Heineken. We have Spencer GIlbert with us today, guys.
Hey now, socially distanced, just the way I like it.
Yeah, Spencer could not be more excited about the pandemic because it means he doesn't have to deal with human beings. Dan Murrell, he
Hello.
likes
How are you? I'm the opposite. I'm the anti-Spencer. I miss my friends.
Oh,
you, and we miss you guys. It's been about a week, so thank you for your patience as we sort of figured out our home setting scenario. I will say this, couple things. One of the things that I notice about this is that if it wasn't already perfectly clear, it is now more clear than ever the stark difference between us and any given late night show. Because when they're at home, their shit looks fancy. Sorry, I did it. I did it. Yeah. But we have news to talk about. First, we want to just say that we hope you guys are doing really, really well. And please let us know if there's anything that we can do to be supportive at this time. I think there's nothing better right now than to be generous and helpful and try and be kind and calm to each other and really recognize that we are in a global community. This is impacting everybody in the world. And I genuinely believe we will all get through it together. Okay, that's enough of being corny because we want to talk about Jared Leto's cult. We want to talk about Wonder Woman. We're going to talk about The Mandalorian a bit today. We got a lot to talk about. So thank you for hitting that thumbs up. We're going to do a giveaway today because we love you so much. More on that in a bit. But first, let's talk about that Wonder Woman release date move. Dan, to no one's surprise, it moved to August 14th instead of June 5th. We've seen this certainly with a lot of films recently. The studio indefinitely pulled In the Heights, the adaptation of Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical. That was due out June 26th. A number of films have been moved. But in terms of Wonder Woman, there was a big cry online to say, oh, release it with HBO Max, which it was never going to happen. Like a studio's never going to truly move a massive tentpole. I think one of the theses, the point is this, happening in Hollywood right now is that if we are able to return to normal within the next 3 months, then one of the things that people will really want to do once they're set free is go to movies. I don't know if that's true or not, but could there conversely be a positive impact on the theatrical experience, do you think, in 2021? Or are we looking at a new normal here in terms of how many movies will go home to streaming services?
I think, in my opinion, I think that this is certainly going to be used as precedent to perhaps shorten the window, the theatrical window, and I think that that's what I've said when I say that I thought this could accelerate a process that was already happening. However, there's already been pushback. When Sony said that they were putting out, I think it was Bloodshot early. They said, we remain loyal to the theatrical window, and we will return to business as usual. And then there's also been pushback, that the theater owners have sort of said with Universal and their Trolls World Tour movie, the blockbuster of the year, coming out same day VOD. The theater owners have sort of said publicly, like, we're not going to forget this. So I think it's a combination of. I'm on the side that I do think that when things are hopefully safe and for people to go out, that I think there is going to be that need for a lot of people to go out and see. They've been sitting at home watching streaming services for, at that point, 1 to 3 months. I think there is going to be that need to go out. But I do think this is going to help to shorten the theatrical window. But so far, it looks like some of the studios are saying, hey, we're still committed to it. And the theater owners are saying, will not forget the studios that are shortening it. So I think that it is the beginning of a new phase, but I know we say the new normal. I think new normal is out as soon as humanly possible, because I do think people just want to return to in some ways, the old normal.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, Joe. I mean, one of the things that I've been noticing, I think, Dan, in addition to what you're talking about, in terms of the condensed timeline between a theatrical release and a home release that's inevitable with these streaming services, is also mid-level movies. So we saw released. I watched The Invisible Man. I watched The Hunt that came out early and were available early. I think that's where we might actually start to see more of the shift. But Spencer and Joe, what do you guys think?
I mean, I think there's definitely tiers of this, like a Wonder Woman or a Top Gun 2 are never going to go VOD like quickly. Like, I don't think those windows are ever going to shorten because I think, like Dan said, there is a time where Mars Attack style, we crawl out of our holes while a mariachi band swears in President First Lady Natalie Portman. And we'll want to go see Wonder Woman. But I think things like New Mutants are finally going to find their rightful home as things that get put on demand as soon as humanly possible. Or Bloodshot. Like, Bloodshot's a blockbuster directed DVD movie, which I absolutely love, but I think it should just accept what it is and be on VOD and be happy about it.
Spencer, one of the things that we had planned to do as a team was to watch Cats together. And,
Yes.
And one of the big losses, I think, of this time is that we were unable to do that. And I know we're going to get some of your thoughts on Cats in the form of a 5-minute comedic video at a certain point, but I just need to know, A, what you think about that, and have you been indulging and catching up on some of the recommended films from myself, like Cats?
So your question is, have I seen Cats and what do I think about it?
I mean, if you want to
there we go.
Questions, what do you think of Cats?
Oh gosh. So I was thinking about Wonder Woman, and I'll get to Cats. Don't worry. Don't worry.
My cat is staring at me. Keep looking at her.
I just think briefly, people don't seem to understand how much movies cost, which is all of the money in the world. Wonder Woman probably cost conservatively $200 million to like make and market. You're not getting that back $20 at a time, especially when it's $20 for like the whole household. So I think unless they up the price to like $50, do you want to see Wonder Woman the first weekend out, or they have some kind of like face scanning technology to be like, oh, there's 6 eyeballs in the room, that means we're charging you 3 times. Like, there's no way the big blockbuster movies are going to come out straight to VOD. Cats is a living nightmare from which you can't awake from. That's my 1-sentence review of it. But I think that, what are you doing? What are you doing now? Oh, I can't look at them. I can't. No. Too soon. Especially when you put your face close to the cat and it's going to merge in some kind of unholy abomination.
Yeah.
Rothstophilles or something, and start scream singing at me. I told you I watched Cats, and then that same night I had a nightmare that I was in Cats. So it's that kind of film, and we're working on the musical.
Who was in it with you?
Who was in the nightmare with me?
Yeah.
One of the cats. One of the cats.
Tum Tugger.
Yeah. It was one of the larger cats.
Like you didn't have like your wife suddenly turned into one of the cats. Like there wasn't a layer to the nightmare.
No, but she and she's a Broadway person, so she's already been exposed to CatVid-19. But hello.
Tonight is a magical night.
But
where I choose the
There's going to be a weird moment where we find out our engineer just has a porn window open, and we're going to find out the hard way.
Pants on, everybody. But I've never heard her say ew or gross so many times throughout a movie. It was shocking.
It is disturbing. And speaking of disturbing and pants on, I do want to have a countdown from folks about how many days they've gone with pajamas and no real clothes. For me, the limit so far was 7 days. They weren't the same pajamas. Not an animal. All right, so Wonder Woman. I think that we have basically decided that movies like this, I think one of the big discussions that people have been having, like we said, is this the new way that movies like this will be released? We're all in agreement that no, that's not going to happen anytime soon. I do think that we will see more mid-level releases at home as part of stunts for different streaming services, and they're really committed to put it, pushing subscriptions at this point. In any event, I will also, before we talk about The Mandalorian, Joe Starr had put up that we wanted to talk about Jared Leto's cult, and I think that's important, and I don't want us to begrudge the audience of this experience.
Sure.
I don't think it was a cult. I thought so. This is
so. I'll jump in here. This is on me a little bit because I didn't update our intro as I decided to remove the story because then it ended up being he's insisting that he's just putting on a music festival where everyone wears the same white robes and goes to a secluded island, but it's a music festival. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of where the story's at right now.
Roth,
yes, Roth.
But wasn't it that he was at like some secluded meditation retreat, and then he emerged as Jesus from the wilderness in this Lenten season, and realized that we were in the middle of a massive worldwide pandemic.
Yes, he did.
Is there more to the story than that?
I mean, right now I'm monitoring because I'm very invested in this. I'm very invested in the cult of Hunka Hunka, and but right now he just is insisting that these gatherings are preparations for a music festival.
Wait.
Does he have anything to do with Tiger Man? Has that from the Tiger Show? Have they been spotted together recently?
It would not surprise me.
Okay.
It would not surprise me in the slightest. Also, you guys should be watching. That is the cat content you should be focused on.
Yes.
Move us on to The Mandalorian, but I want to do two quick clarifying points here. One is that one event was that basically Jared Leto experienced the events of The Walking Dead and was out and unavailable and meditating, and then came back and the world was in a
How disappointing is that reality that if you picture Rick Grimes wandering around an abandoned Georgia town, but it's Jared Leto realizing that it's up to him to save the world.
He's just complaining about everyone's vibes the whole time.
I don't see any people, but I feel a lot of energy. And
bad vibes.
Thank you. Your cat made an appearance.
Muffin has decided, and she's planted herself. Okay, that's all right. She does this. She's a wonderful cat, and she has a real talent for picking the time when it's often if I'm taking notes on a computer, it's now is the time for lap sitting, but that's okay because she's a nice cat.
So these guys can tell you that I've been doing nothing but talking about how excited I was to introduce our respective cats to the world, and that the entire plan was to have our cats watch cats. Which may still happen at some point in the show. I'm not here to say what does or does not happen on the
Don't give them any ideas.
But so thank you, Muffin, for participating. And so I just want to make sure I'm really clear on this, and then I want to ask Dan a question about the box office. Joe, so you're saying that first that happened, and then his response to the apocalypse was to put on a concert on an island.
So that's not necessarily a response. That's not a response to the pandemic, but that is the response to what are you doing on that island where everyone's wearing white robes and surrounding you and meditating.
Okay, good.
Don't drink the kombucha.
Dan, you've been managing to post about box office.
Yes.
Even in a time of no theatrical experience. Can you tell us how you have done this?
Well, I didn't this week because literally the box office was zero. They took the charts. That's how serious this is. There are no charts because there are no movies. But China is reopening a few hundred theaters right now, reportedly, and are working on getting that industry back up and running. Now, the thing with the charts is it's not so much that there was no one went to see a movie, it's that all the studios sort of collectively decided we're not going to report numbers because they would have been very abysmally low, and I think they decided no news was better than the numbers that would be coming in. But it really just depends now on when the big change sort of dictate this. When they decide to reopen is when I think we're going to start seeing reporting coming back, when people maybe start going to see the movies again. But we've talked a little bit as we're adjusting our plan for the year ahead. In my mind, I'm not counting on any major release coming out through June. Mm-hmm. Because I think that AMC themselves, when they were sending out stuff to their subscribers, said that they anticipated being closed 6 to 12 weeks, which would take you through the end of June. I think that's probably a pretty good measure, and I know that sucks if you're just sitting there. We are in, I think, the somewhat early stages of this, but as far as the box office and business as usual, I just don't see how it happens anytime before June. July 4th would be kind of my target weekend for maybe these summer box office season beginning to start, because you've got the Ryan Reynolds movie Free Guy scheduled for that weekend. But it just depends. It depends on how, it changes day by day. But yeah, for charting enthusiasts such as myself, there has been precious little information. It will be interesting to see how the reopenings go in the countries that are ahead of us in this cycle. China is, I mentioned, they're not just reopening theaters. They are re-releasing the Avengers movies. They're re-releasing Avatar, which revives the world's slowest foot chase for the highest grossing movie of all time, because now Avatar is back in the mix. And then I was also reading today that the Chinese film industry itself struck a deal with exhibitors to re-release some of their biggest hits of the past years, like Wolf Warrior and The Wandering Earth. And the deal they struck was that 100% of the money goes to the theaters there. Mm-hmm. So instead of a cut going back to the exhibitors in China for the Chinese films being released there, 100% of the money goes back to the theater owners and the theaters themselves as they try to get the industry back up on its feet. So as with everything else, it's going to be interesting to see, is that an arrangement that you see happen here? Do studios release big movies back in theaters to get people to go back? Do studios strike a deal with exhibitors to get money flowing back to the theater owners themselves? Because they're the hardest hit. I mean, studios are taking a big hit, but it's the people that actually run the day-to-days and their employees that are the hardest hit by this. So,
well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because in terms of the pandemic itself, China obviously is ahead of us. It started there, and certainly we have a lot to learn in terms of the process and the rollout. And I think a lot of the estimates that we're making about, and I'm not the CDC, don't listen to anything that is not the CDC says at this point, or the WHO. But in terms of the industry, we're going to start to see box office happen there first. Movie theaters will reopen there first, and we'll hopefully start to see recovery there first, which I hope will start to ease some of the panic that is happening in across industries here. To your point, like, I think that action of generosity is going to be incredibly important and support, because the people that are hit in entertainment, to your point, Dan, they're not just the theaters and the people running the day-to-day. It's when production shuts down, any one production shuts down that's of any significant size, thousands of people lose their jobs. Thousands of people that we don't know or talk about on a regular basis that are not just the movie stars or the famous directors. And that's why when Netflix donates $100 million to a fund to help support people in this industry, it is very significant and very important. And that's across industries, not just entertainment at all. That just happens to be, certainly hospitality is a place that's going to need a lot of help. But yeah.
Well, I think Spencer would agree with me that if they really want to be aggressive about Wonder Woman, it opens Easter Sunday. I think that's when you bring the movie back.
I'm not going back to a movie theater until I'm
Easter Sunday.
Until Easter Sunday. I was going to say, like, can you imagine going to a movie theater like late summer, things are back open and someone's got like a cough behind you? Like, we're forming a mob and they're leaving the theater.
Yeah, they will not survive.
Yeah, I think probably Dan and team, I think you're going to see a lot of people being cautious for a period of time, and that's appropriate. Like, I think everybody's just doing the best they can to take responsible, appropriate actions right now. I'm at home with my cat. I'm willing to make that sacrifice for you guys and just spend more time with my cat, you know? All right, let's talk about The Mandalorian and the big casting news that came out that we missed because we were responsibly figuring out how to do this. Rosario Dawson gets a dream job, Joe Starr, and you in the script said that you, Joe, were the only one that cared about this news. That's not true. I care about this news too. I'm excited about this news, but I would like you to talk for this news.
I'm interested in this. So Ahsoka Tano's been, for anyone who deep dives slightly past the movies and Star Wars, has been this consistent character for like a decade now. I feel bad that Spencer and Dan's only exposure to her is that awful Clone Wars movie where Spencer, what did you say she is in that movie? She's the power converters line come to life.
Exactly.
Because it really is a great character with this fully realized arc, and I think Rosario Dawson's been like the fan casting for this for a long time, so it's a really smart move.
Too, right?
Say again.
She also said she wanted to do it.
Yeah. So it's like a dream job for her, and I think it's a really smart move, and the fans will be really pleased, and yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I have a hard time. I'm still getting, even after Mandalorian and Space Boston, I have a hard time imagining Star Wars characters not just sounding British. So I got to wrap my head around it. But, Disney doesn't really have to wait on me. So
they do, though. Also, Michael Biehn of The Terminator and Aliens is joining the cast. We don't know who he's playing, but apparently it's a bounty hunter, not surprising. I just want to take a moment to just be like, let's just respect Michael Biehn. Like, let's just take a moment to let's just respect him.
Yeah.
No one ever mentions The Rock when they talk about Michael Biehn. Not the person, the movie. He's great.
We spilled the same blood in the same mud.
Yeah.
That does not give you the right to mutiny.
Yep.
His softly lit sex scene in Terminator 1 was the first I'd ever seen. So props to his butt.
That was your first one? Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Good. There's a question here about, do you have fan casting for the rest of the show? That would be an old school action hero popping up.
Actually, will you throw up Michael's face one more time? Because speaking of Space Boston, doesn't he kind of look related to Bill Burr? Could he be Bill Burr's character's dad?
He could be a vengeful uncle of Bill Burr.
Well, I think they just confirmed that Bill Burr's coming back, so that could be.
Yes, they did.
Could be.
Yeah. Oh, more Space Boston shenanigans with Michael Boston.
Why Boston? Why are people so hung up on the Boston thing particularly? Like there was like a New York guy who owned a diner in a movie. Like it's bringing in people from the Northeast is not a new thing for the Star Wars franchise.
It doesn't bother me. I think for me it's just like Baby Yoda, where I'm like, I know he's not called Baby Yoda, but I just like saying it now. Like saying Space Boston is fun for me.
Fair enough.
Hey, I have a game for us, and then we're going to do a call out, and then we're going to talk about honest trailers.
Oh, no.
So here's the game, and this is maybe something you guys can do at home if you're like virtually hanging out with friends and things like that. I don't know if you guys have tips for how you're staying connected to people during the quarantine, but I think we each grab an object that's close to us within reaching distance, and it's also going to serve as a movie or TV reference. And for me, it can't be these posters behind me because it's too obvious. And this is my object. So you have to say what I'm referencing.
National Treasure 2 Book of Secrets, because it's a book.
It's the Four Agreements.
The Four Agreements, yeah. It's like a very like kind of a new agey, self-helpy thing. Like, what the bleep do we know?
No.
Four Agreements.
If you guys can get it in the chat, I will be impressed.
4 Christmases?
No.
Fantastic.
Barry. The Four Agreements. It's such a good book. Barry, do you guys not watch Barry?
Joe does.
I haven't.
I do. Sorry, it's not a movie.
Pick your object.
You tricked me.
Your object.
I have one. Okay, ready?
Mine's...
Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joe.
Go for it, Dan. No, you go.
Right.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Good job. Sell me this pen.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
We've established that Spencer and I know way more about each other than either of us
There's a
had
deep
ever
psychic link.
anticipated. Yeah.
Joe, what's your object?
Mine's a little abstract, and you might have to sort of jump some mental hoops to sort of figure out the reference. But
Let's see.
Flash Gordon?
Yeah. Galaxy Quest.
This is an object that abstractly represents the blasters used on Bespin City in Empire Strikes Back. It's just like a vague representation.
Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back. All right.
What do you got?
And I'm holding it weird because it's broken, and I feel bad about that.
A Cliff Bar.
Oh, 127 hours.
I was going to do it too. I was
No, it was
Mission
even more
Impossible 2.
It was even more literal.
Oh,
Mission Impossible 2?
Oh, cliffhanger.
Yeah, cliffhanger.
All right, guys, there's just something I wanted to do, frankly, but hopefully it's helpful to you. Do that with your friends. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting. Thank you for sticking with us, even in this very weird time that we find ourselves in right now. As a result, and because we love you and we want to support our friends out there.
Whoa.
Hey, Belle.
A bell. Wow. In the spirit of supporting other people in this very weird time, we're doing a giveaway. We're giving away 2 signed copies of the book, Why We Love Star Wars, The Great Moments That Built a Galaxy Far, Far Away by Ken Knapsack, a friend of the channel. It is an awesome book that's available everywhere books are sold, except physically, because you can't go there right now. So anywhere they are sold inside of your computer face. Type Star Wars Ken. So that's all one, all caps, Star Wars Ken into the chat. Just once, please. And Ryan will randomly select 2 winners. So if you're unhappy about this, I encourage you to direct your comments to Ryan.
And then buy the book if you didn't win.
Yep. And then buy the book.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so this brings us to our segment on the Honest Trailers, because we weren't able to do Honest Trailer commentaries for this week for the Rise of Skywalker. So I am going to throw to Spencer J. Gilbert to entertain and delight.
Hey guys, welcome to Honest Trailer Commentaries. So blah, 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 blah. Man, this movie was a big pile of dumb garbage. Let's discuss.
Yeah.
Guys, I felt like there was we will play you all the deleted scenes, and there's like 3 minutes of it, and we'll just shut up for that. We're not going to actually go through the trailer frame by frame like we usually do. I found myself unable to even wrap my head around this movie because everywhere you looked, there was something disappointing about it. It was a target-rich environment, and I don't know if it was impossible to get everything in there that we wanted to get in. What do you guys think?
I felt like we were I think the movie is this. I felt like we were pretty scathing. I think at one point we call it a sad pile of garbage that needs to be put out of its misery. I'm pretty sure we say that. And even though I feel like we were hitting it really hard, there were still a lot of people in the comments that were like, man, you guys took it really easy on this thing. And yeah.
Yeah, I don't like this movie at all. I called it the worst case scenario, and I stand by that. For me, it was the worst case scenario of what that movie could have been, which is not really building on either of the previous movies, not committing either to being a follow through to the last movie. It's just a mess. It's a mishmash. It's like, wow, I don't know what to do. Just make it a treasure hunt, and then it's Palpatine's in there, and whatever, the end. I really did not care for it. It colors my opinion of the last 2 films in a way that's not fun. I'm sad when I watch The Force Awakens now, because I see all that promise that excited me so when it came out, and realized that it didn't really deliver to me anything worthwhile.
It's just so milquetoast. It's like it's just a generic sci-fi flavored summer blockbuster where it's like, we got to get the doobie bozzle to the weasel wop. Go. And I'd probably be easier on it if it were called Space Adventure Force or something like that. But the fact that this was the 3rd movie in that trilogy that had so very little to do with the ones that came before, and so little about it stood out. It just went through me like broth. It was just like veggie broth that just like in and out. The pee is clear. Nothing was absorbed. Or I don't know how pee works, but it was
that's how it works.
It was like, even say what you will about the Last Jedi, I'm partial to that film, but like there were at least sequences that stood out visually, like the throne room throwdown, like where you're like, okay, well, I could take that action sequence or that moment out of it, and like that'll stick with me. Nothing about this movie stuck with me.
No.
But in a weird way, isn't it kind of the great uniter? Like people are united on their take on this. There's not a lot of divisiveness for one. So
They did finally nail how to displease everybody in the fan base. Yeah, which isn't it's an achievement. It's an accomplishment.
That's something. Yeah, that's definitely
I would like to
something.
point out there was one fateful day in this past December that I began the day by seeing Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, and later that same day ended it by seeing Cats.
I
Same
remember that day.
Yeah.
That's a
That
big
was a
day.
great day for me.
That was a very emotionally taxing day for me.
Say what you will about Cats. You remember Cats. You remember
do.
what happened in Cats.
I remember specific moments in the theater about Cats when when Dame Judi Dench looked into my soul at the end of that movie. I'll never forget that moment.
The crazy thing is she looks into your soul and then you think it's over and then she looks back into your soul.
10 more minutes. And then they cut back to the balloon, which is still slowly floating.
And then they cut back to Skimbleshanks getting on the boat with Elrond.
And it's where you learn that a cat's not a dog, for example.
That had been drilled into our heads. Yeah, plenty.
So at the cat screening, Dan, so I remember that day too, because we had to review Rise of Skywalker, which was disappointing for both of us. And Cats was like the balm on my soul because I saw it. They did this screening where they were giving out champagne in weird like cat glasses. And then you had a cat accoutrement. And everyone was a little bit rowdy. I was next to Lon watching this movie. Watching Lon's face, watching this film was an entire entertainment unto itself. And then when Judi Dench was staring into our souls at the end and placing judgment, I don't know where you guys netted out, but I feel pretty good. Lon and I were both like, "It's over, we're dead, apocalypse!" And we were right.
That was a first. Like I've been to events where alcohol is served, like if it's like an event for a film, and there have been like premieres that I've seen where that you can get alcohol, but I have never seen a studio handing out alcohol before a critics screening. That is the only time I have ever seen alcohol being foisted upon critics before a screening. That's when I knew we were in for something
There was
special.
one other time, Dan, it was in Montana, and the film was Cowboys and Aliens.
Well, there you go.
And not only did they hand out wine, but they took us on this crazy junket experience where we went horseback riding and threw axes, and then they gave us wine for like a full day, and then they let us see that movie.
Yeehaw.
But even that's like a junket. Like this was like a run-of-the-mill critics screening, you know? It's like the critics show up. I've never seen them be like, drink before this film. Here, take it.
They know what it is.
Put it in your purse.
All right.
Sorry.
Anyways,
Sorry, we got sidetracked.
The Rise of Skywalker. I was just going back through my notes here to see what didn't make it in that I thought was stupid, and there's a lot. The C-3PO, his programming forbids him from saying the thing that he can interpret.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking stupid. I'm using my swear jar today. But
Really dumb.
didn't Anakin build him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why would he do that? Why would Anakin Skywalker be like, you can decode Sith language, but you can't repeat it? I know this for some reason.
Yeah. Well, we were actually watching it, and Mara brought up a really good point, which is that in Return of the Jedi, C3 was like, my programming prevents me from impersonating a deity, and all Han Solo had to do is like, just do it, 3PO, and then he did it. It's like just tell him to do it, and he'll do it. That's dumb. They have to go, but they had to take up some screen time by going on another pointless side quest.
So yeah, the pointless side quest to save Chewie, or not to. Well, that was a point. That was stupid, but mostly because like they gave you. I timed it. There were less than 3 minutes between blowing up Chewie and then revealing that Chewie was okay. 3 minutes.
What was the point?
Why? Well, give us a little bit of time to miss Chewie.
Yeah. When you can't make real drama, you have to manufacture it, which is why they did that.
I thought that the Hux reveal was that I like that. I thought that was cool that he was the spy. And then they just unceremoniously shot him in favor of a random, boring new character we didn't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
General Pride, you guys. Put some respect on General Pride.
No, I love that. That's like one of my only favorite of the new characters. That like the growth of that character. Like I never thought it would be Hux, who I thought had the most interesting journey through the entire 3 movies. But I liked that he got to the point when he's just like, "Why are you helping us win?" He's like, "I don't care who wins. I just want Kylo Ren to lose." Like that actually tracks through all 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the only one.
I think he's the only Imperial officer in all of Star Wars that got an arc or depth. The rest of them just get choked and promoted.
That's the latter.
It was nice. I'll give that a thumbs up.
And then this was an issue in this movie that I had, I think, in all three of them. It's like, I never know who's winning the war. It seems so clear at the end of Last Jedi that like the Resistance is cooked, right? And the First Order runs the world. But right off the bat, you know, the Emperor's like, everyone needs to surrender to me, surrender or die. They won. The war's over. They won. Just stop, or tell us who's in the lead. Give us a scoreboard or something like that. And then them kissing at the end, and then which is whatever, like, you know,
it's a kiss of respect, Spencer.
Yeah, but then to put out that it was a kiss of
like
respect.
We knew it worked.
That's the thing I miss the most in all this social distancing is we can't respectfully kiss each other anymore. Oh boy!
That's not a thing that happens in our office.
It's a sign of respect.
Just
consensual respect between one genocidal young boy and his frenemy. Babu Frick was cute. We didn't talk about that.
Yeah, it was cute.
Yeah.
Also, one of my favorite factoids that wasn't able to make it into the trailer was that Kylo Ren's last line is "Ow."
Ow. Yep. And yeah. Babu Frick, my issue was he came dangerously close to looking directly at the camera and cheering when he just pops up Fraggle style in that ship at the end. He almost Jim faces, and that's when I said no to Babu Frick.
Oh,
I could never say no to Babu Frick.
Yeah, I couldn't say no to him.
I did think it was weird that they were like, someone named Babu Frick gave us these coordinates, like after because he's just like a weird, cute throwaway character, and then apparently he's now a key part of the Resistance.
Yeah. So unless you guys had other stuff to say, let's roll our deleted jokes and cut things. Let's do it.
Treasure franchise without Nick Cage. Congrats, Star Wars. You become the National Treasure franchise without Nick Cage. Hope you're happy. Kylo Ren, who is back to insisting that blood is destiny.
The dark side is in our nature.
Even though his and Rey's parents are proof that it's not. Kylo Ren, never in history have parents sacrificed so much to get their deadbeat kid to not be a total piece of And Rey, a protagonist-shaped blank slate you can project any emotions or personality or grandparents you want onto.
You're his granddaughter.
Oh, so when he told her that her parents were no one, he meant no one outside the only two families in the galaxy who matter. Okay, got it. Starring Palpatine, the grandchild-like Empress. Lightning bolt, Ridley Watt. Rey, I've got a great idea for the starring. Finn Tryhard, John Bodega, Poe Judgment, Slippin' Kajimi, A Most Violent Few Days, Yon Solo, Ren Dead Redemption, Redemption Son, Ren and Wimpy, Forget Me Bots, Memento, Wikipedia, Comeback of the Clones, 4 more years, Sheev Jobs, Sheev of Absence, Multiplicity, Wook of the Dead, Proof of Life Day, Explosions in the Sky, Fur Smell, Fur Metal Jacket. There, are you happy? Force Moms, Ghostmaster General, The Fisher Queen, Hereditary, Beetleluke.
I have no idea what a Force Ghost is, and I don't care.
Han Yolo, Dying Alone, Solo, Mature Gambino, Orlando Gloom, Hardship Troopers, Sure Jana, Richard Evil Grant, Dark Helmet, Spice Like Us, Spice Runner 2049, The Kajimians, Carrie Struggle, The Mask of Zori, Kelly Marie Scan. Oh, there she is. Poochie went back to her home planet. Friend Zoned, the Pixar logo.
I love Lamp.
JJ, Love and Other Slugs, Slugworth, Robot Docs, Small Soldiers, Frickpix, Baby Yoda, and we're not wearing hockey pads. and
We are the knights who say, Ren.
the last starfighter. Palpatine Titans go. An all-time Reylo. Exo is goals. Sith honors. Wait, why are Poe and Finn holding hands so weird? Is that what Finn wanted to tell her? That he never learned how to hold hands properly?
Hey,
Hey!
that's a lot of cut stuff.
I just cut it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lot of hate for this one.
Let your hate flow through me.
Strike it down.
Well,
So I guess in the what's that, Roth? I will talk. In the spirit of Honest Trailer commentaries, we will give you a clue for next week's Honest Trailer, which is one that it feels like the entire internet has been asking for, and we're finally going to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you get.
Wait, keep talking for a second.
Oh, okay. She's probably going to get a cat or something.
Probably. Or she just brings Caleb back in her arms and puts her boyfriend in her lap.
Yes, this is my cat.
Well, guys.
I could talk about dumb stuff about this movie for a while.
Yeah,
more
keep
if you
going.
want to. It's stupid, and I don't like it. And why? That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's a cat.
Yeah. This saga ended with Broom Kid for me. And that's fine.
Oh,
That's
Broom
fine.
Kid.
Yeah, the whole Rise of Skywalker was a broom kid in a coma, and then he wakes up from it and goes, "Oh, hello."
No,
That's what they do. They're gonna fast forward to the years in the future. An adult Broom Kid's gonna wake up and that's a Force vision he saw at the end of his Jedi training. Like,
Yeah.
You know when they inevitably make episode 10 in 15, 20 years that it's going to start with somebody going to Tatooine and digging up those lightsabers, right?
Mm.
Oh,
Yep.
100%.
And then
Definitely.
the bones of Aunt Beru.
And that old lady who asked who Rey was, who she immediately killed right after the credits rolled to hide her identity theft.
Then they're gonna clone Luke's aunt and uncle, just for reasons, so we can have more Skywalkers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Pat took us out, but I think we missed the window in order for her to take us out of this experience.
Oh,
But we want to thank you guys for sticking with us. Thank you guys for continuing. We're going to keep trying to bring you weird stuff. We're going to bring you this periodically in the morning. We have some other things up our sleeves for the channel. We have some new formats we're working on, and we're working really hard to bring you guys fun things to watch and entertain you in this very odd time. If there's anything else that we can do, legitimately say so. I strongly believe that we all should be supporting each other in whatever way we can right now. It's a very weird time. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're well. I hope your family is well. We will get through this, and we will continue to bring you dumb, silly aspects of life and entertainment. We want to thank the winners of our giveaway, which is Lauren Anderson, Mrs. Anderson.
Lauren Anderson.
Mrs. Anderson has won, and so has Ben the bow tie guy.
Ben the bow tie guy.
I'm glad he got it instead of the necktie guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just really want to thank you guys for joining me. That's Joe's infinite disappointment. Our ability to get through even one of these without cursing. I blame Spencer.
He started it.
I did.
Good.
Just hanging out with the boys. Rubs off on you.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Things that you should watch.
We could never be 6 feet apart, Vinny.
End it. End it. We'll come back tomorrow.